Please welcome Christopher Larson, President and CEO of Central Houston Incorporated.
What a year. Certainly want to just pause there and thank my team at Central Houston. Just a tremendous amount of work we've accomplished this year. If I could invite a round of applause for our team at Central Houston. And our hardworking, we got right up front, the men and women on our operations teams, our clean and safe teams. Thank you all for everything that you do in our downtown each day. All right, so I get to show you now what's next. And it starts with our symbolic new mission statement, which will guide our work. This alone represents the first time that our three boards have defined a purpose for their work together on behalf of the downtown community. And this will guide our work moving forward, including this year. Now, last year, when I introduced myself to you, I told you that my biggest job, my number one priority for the year was to get people back in downtown. And we've started measuring that, measuring our progress. This chart will show you everything from February 21 through August 2021 for the utilization of parks and green space in downtown, where we've now exceeded pre-pandemic utilization of our great parks and green spaces. We are joined by Ann Olson and Barry Mandel from two of those key signature green spaces in downtown. Certainly demonstrates what some of our other speakers have said about people coming back downtown for lots of different reasons. Hospitality. Since March of this year, we've seen a very strong recovery, now measuring 93+% recovered versus pre-pandemic norms. And residential occupancy. The dip here was before the vaccines. After the vaccines, we've absorbed more than 600 residential units in downtown, continuing to grow at a pace to help us to get to our goal of having 20,000 residents in downtown. And then finally, and this is, I think, good comparative data, the return to office continues to set records relative to our peer cities across the nation, but we still have work to do. However, we have achieved our highest rates yet of nearly 60% in October and had peak days around 71% during the month of October. So let's talk about where we're going into the future. Now, within our three organizations, we've got a lot of complexity. 3 boards, 3 logos, different boundaries, separate legal constraints, 6 websites, and on and on. But most of that does not matter to you. It is our job to keep up with the details because what you care about is downtown. And this year, we're going to make it easier for people by breaking through the complexity of our organizations and making it easier for them to understand what we do and, more importantly, how they can get out and enjoy our downtown community. One brand, one website, one downtown. An example of that is the opportunity to expand partnerships. So instead of producing and marketing separate holiday events and installations, we're combining forces with Houston First to collaborate on one bigger effort for celebrating the holidays in downtown. The program will feature 8 unique holiday villages and run from November 18th through New Year's. Again, simply making it easier for families to enjoy the holidays in our community. Later this year, we'll cut the ribbon on Trebley Park, a huge project by the DRA. Once the park is open, all downtown residential buildings will meet the Trust for Public Lands' gold standard of having a park within a 10-minute walk of their homes. That deserves a round of applause. Now, the mayor touched on public safety. I'm going to do a little bit of the same myself. Using FBI data, we're now working hand in hand with HPD to map every crime that occurs in downtown to evaluate trends and other conditions that can be improved through more strategic deterrence efforts. Now, too often, the perception of public safety in our downtown is tarnished by anecdotal or high-profile events. As you can imagine, the data doesn't support those negative perceptions. Since we have a room full of professionals who mostly have a 9-to-5 experience in our downtown, I'm going to talk about the chance that you have of being a victim of a violent crime. By far, the most prevalent violent crime in downtown is aggravated assault. Citywide, through August, there were 8,889 instances of aggravated assault in the city of Houston. In downtown, we had 33. That represents 1/3 of 1% of what we're seeing citywide and downtown. Now, within those 33, we can break that further. 15 of those 33 were between known parties. So in some ways, you have as much to fear about your coworker or your friend or family member as you do getting attacked by a stranger. Now, during this period of time, 4.3 million people came downtown during the workday. That means that you have about a 1 in 250,000 chance of being the victim of a violent crime during the workday downtown, which happens to be the exact same probability that you have of being hit by a meteor. And really better odds, though, than winning the Powerball. So let's talk about perception, because perception is things that we can control against. There's things that we can do. And one of the major drivers, key influencers of perception is the lack of lighting or darkness, because frankly, it's human nature to be afraid of the dark. So this year we'll be conducting a systematic evaluation of the pedestrian lighting conditions throughout downtown and working to better illuminate the public realm. We also want to do more on homelessness. When we ask individuals about the key determinant about what makes them feel safe or unsafe, homelessness is always at the top of that list. Right? We've made really great strides on this front. Working with our partners, we've been able to reduce homelessness in downtown by 36% over the last 5 years. But Houston didn't give up when we got 36% of the way to the moon, did we? Right? We still have work to do, and that's why this year we're going to be exploring opportunities to accelerate the transition into housing for those with housing vouchers, and also looking for ways to restore order in contested areas. To do that, we're learning from cities that are managing much larger homelessness challenges and determining which of their interventions can be brought home to Houston to help us continue the progress that we've made. Now let's turn the page to economic development. Currently, we're working on creating new tools that will help us convert blighted and obsolete properties into essential assets such as increased housing. And Greg, was certainly wonderful to see some of the work that's being done around the country, and we intend to do that same work here in Houston. We're also hiring new staff and developing new programs to be able to improve and fill vacant storefronts throughout our downtown. But it is because we have challenges that we also have new opportunities to create and allow the next chapters for these buildings to emerge. We'll also look at reigniting the Downtown Living Initiative, which was able to bring about 5,000 new residential units into the downtown. Again, we want to continue to grow downtown as a neighborhood, and so we want to talk about turning that program back on. And we're also going to be working with our partners at the Greater Houston Partnership to explore a program to attract more tech and energy transition companies into downtown. So currently, our team is conducting an intense examination of all 350 square blocks of downtown Houston to assess how well each block face does or does not support walkability. We're evaluating everything from the way that the adjacent building relates to the sidewalk to the presence of pedestrian comfort items such as awnings and the tree canopy. Ultimately, we'll be working to retrofit today's sidewalks into more interesting, human-scaled connective tissue that knits together downtown's great assets. Now back to those perceptions of safety. Growing vibrancy in the public realm is the most effective way to helping people feel safe. Other people will make you feel safe. I'm excited to share with you now some concepts for how we get this done. And to prove that Greg Lindsay is a futurist, he must have had a sense that we'd be looking at the Congress Street Bridge. So this is a key connector between two places that we know and love, between Post Houston and the Theater District. But it's a bit of a stark environment. Not a lot going on down there. Pretty rough hardscape. So what we're looking to do is to add softening features, place branding elements to feature the context of the Theater District, such as the banners, and you see the stage lights, as well as piano key concrete markings and pop-up activations to create reasons for people want to explore that space. More importantly, thinking about how we build on our success with the mural program to create this terminated vista that would help to lure people across the bridge to extend their stay in downtown. Another way to transform the public realm, we're looking at Dallas Street and how we might be able to improve those conditions to make it more interesting for people to explore, to walk and connect through the downtown neighborhoods. So here we have been able to embellish the pedestrian scale and create more pedestrian comfort through the addition of awnings. We're also looking at creating faux storefront displays. This is, of course, a former department store that now serves as storage for automobiles. So how we retrofit those storefronts to create a condition where we can create more welcoming opportunities for members that are visiting our community. Of course, we have the quilters in town right now, so why not hang some quilts in those windows and give people an opportunity to explore. The addition of retail cabinets where people can use QR codes to be able to click to purchase. And then seasonally, we can also transform that space to help to enliven the spirit of the old department store with beautiful holiday displays. Now into Lamar Street, and one of my personal favorites, the opportunity to create more green in our community. Lamar Street is certainly the definition of a cold, hardscape environment. Here we can add trees and flowering plants to soften the streetscape, and a tree canopy that will create more shade to cool the environment. We can also make use of the existing arcade feature in the adjacent building to create a new people space for a cafe with more lingering. Working with the city and the mayor's office, we're looking to take the next step in advancing the pilot we started 2 years ago with the More Space program. Here we can build a more uniform cafe environment and help to buffer it from the passing trains. This will also enable us to create a clear path of travel for pedestrians and create a true promenade feel in downtown. And finally, the most topical, and the one that I wish I could transform this afternoon for you all, Texas Avenue. Here we're thinking about how the public realm can be transformed to create a more expressive support for the home team. Through paint, some retractable Murphy tables and chairs, vendors and entertainment, we can create exciting pop-up beer garden experiences on game day. So taken together, between the tremendous return of people to our downtown, the creative can-do spirit of this community, our willingness to tackle tough problems, and perhaps most inspired by the recent comeback performances of our Astros, I'm proud to share with you all that the state of our downtown is resurgent. Thank you all for joining us for this year's annual meeting, as well as our first State and Future of Downtown event. We look forward to working with you all in the coming year. Also would like to thank all my many board members, our boards, our staff, and all of you again for your support. Let's go get them.